Hello and welcome to Mostly Minnesota Music Podcast Edition. I'm Ann Tracy. I'm here with my co-host,
Heather Baker.
Yes, and we are here with Athereal Rose. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm excited. We are all coming off the Midwest Music Fest.
Yes.
2 of us enjoyed the music and 1 of us played.
and enjoyed the music as well. Absolutely. I enjoy it most from the stage, actually.
I could imagine. Yes, it was fantastic to see you.
Thank you.
We just looked at each other and said, I think that's Theory Rose. So
yeah, it was really lucky that one of the crew members of the Von Tramps, the people that I was doing backup vocals for that day, were like, aren't you interviewing with Mostly Minnesota Music? And I was like, yes, I am. And then she's like, do you want to meet them? They're here. I'm like, what? So I thought that was kind of lucky. Like, yeah, that was so cool.
It was lucky. Yes, I know Alicia quit well, so it was that worked out really well. Yeah. And
she's so sweet.
Very sweet. Very sweet. Very sweet. Very smart. You were great. It was.
Good.
I think that we have both seen you also play with perform with the Black Widows.
Yes, absolutely. That's another band that I love getting to play with. I love doing backup vocals and feature vocals for them. Yeah, that Von Tramp show at the Midwest Music Fest, I got to hear those songs 1 week before the show.
No.
So I was like, okay, crunch time, but nothing we haven't done before. So yeah, I think we pulled it off.
That's amazing. And I know, and we want to talk about, because you have an album out, you have a solo album out, but you've gotten to play with a lot of different people in town.
Yes, I feel very lucky in that regard. A lot of people have asked me to go dance, do backup vocals, all of that good stuff. So I feel very lucky because I don't like sticking to one genre, and it's nice to kind of dabble in all of my friends' bands. So yeah, that's been fun.
That is, well, and that not wanting to stick with one genre suits Athereal Rose music, the album, quite well.
Yeah. Good. Thank you. I was hoping that I wouldn't fit too nicely into a little box. So good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Well, tell us you know what, I should step back even and say, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are now.
Oh, sure. Oh gosh. All right. I'm like, do you want the abbreviated version or the non-abbreviated version?
We want whatever you want to give us. We'll take it.
Okay, cool. So I grew up in Alaska, and like both of my parents were military, and they didn't give a single crap what any of my ambitions were. And I actually told my stepmom that I wanted to be a runway model. And like, it's interesting when I saw her like total disgust and just her rebuttal of just like, I mean, she was repulsed and disappointed. And I mean, I didn't have a lot of respect for her to begin with, but just seeing her scoff at my dreams made me very much like go deep inside myself. And I was like, all right, this is a solo mission. Like, this is a one-man mission. Yeah. And so it was interesting. The household I grew up in was psychotically strict. Not only were they military, but the stepmom was like psycho level Christian. And she was raised Catholic. So we were not allowed to like watch television, listen to secular music on the radio. So not to date myself or anything like that, but I did sneak my cassette player underneath my pillow every single night, and listened obsessively to like, I had my headphones, I had like the cassette player underneath my pillow and then another pillow on top of my head, thinking that my sister, who I shared a room with, wasn't going to hear, but of course she did and always got me in trouble. But she's like, turn it off, you know you're not supposed to be listening to secular music. But yeah, no, I snuck like my love affair with music became a very private and intimate thing from the very beginning. And I knew I was obsessed with music. I didn't like listen to music. I can't even really describe it. Like music got into my bloodstream. Like every time I listened to music, I knew it was something that I was a part of right away. I knew it was something that was like inside of me, and I knew that my entire body tunes into it. It's like a mind, body, spirit connection when it comes to music. So I knew it was super, super special to me right away. So thankfully, psycho strict parents do let you sing in the church choir. So so we started there, and I didn't give a crap about church choir, but I did want to sing, you know what I mean? And so I got to sing some praises and hymnals, and I basically just like stepped up for every solo that I possibly could from the very beginning. And my stepmom was playing piano for the church because of course she was, because she has to put up a front like she's a good person when really she's just a monster behind closed doors. But yeah, so there was a lot of like, I don't know, I had so much to say because I like had to keep my like super abusive parents' secrets all the time. And so I had a ton to say. Like what Maya Angelou said, how she went completely silent for like her entire childhood. And it was like once she finally started speaking, she had so much to say because she had been observing the behavior of the adults around her for so many years, that like from an objective position. And that's exactly how it was. Like, because we lived a false, because my, the family unit that I was, enslaved in at that time presented so well in public. And because I lived that false image for so long, like basically just holding up my abuser's secrets and stuff like that, and holding up that image for them. It's interesting. When I started writing music, I had so much to say. There was so much that I was like choking down and holding in for so long. So it was awesome. Like when I was 16 years old, thankfully, I was working on getting emancipated. I had a social worker by that point because my stepmom had me living in the backyard for 3 months, and wasn't feeding me, like burned all my clothes, like burned and donated all my clothes. She just hated me. And so I got kicked out of the house when I was 16. I was like, oh no, please don't kick me out of this hellhole. Oh God, what will I do out there in the free world where I get to be a real person and I get to embody the entirety of who myself actually is? Holy crap. No, Mom, please. So anyways, got shipped off to Minnesota I got shipped off on the first plane to Minnesota when I was 16 because my dead mom's side of the family is here. My German-Irish side of the family is here. And she was just like, hey, if your German-Irish family wants you, that's cool. If they don't want you, you can live, beg, die, starve in the streets. I don't care. Like, get out of my house. And I was like, sweet. Because I knew I could make it work. You know what I mean? So I had a layover in some city and I like busted open the yellow pages, and I was like, well, my mom's maiden name was Fahey, and I like dug through the Faheys. I found my Uncle Chris and like rang him from the payphone, and I was like, hi, I'm in Atlanta and I'm coming to you. And he was like, what? He was like, what's up? Because I kept my parents' secret. I had kept their secrets for so many years so well that like they had no idea. They were like, oh, everybody was like, oh my gosh, look at these perfect, obedient children. It's like, yeah, what? Yeah, because it'll cost us our life if we're not. Like, yeah, we're obedient. That's the one thing that we get praised for. So that's the one thing that keeps us away from a violent attack. So yeah, so my Uncle Chris, who lives in Brooklyn Center, he was like, well, sweetie, he's like, cool. Maybe you can explain more when your plane lands, but yeah, you can come on over when your plane lands. So it's awesome because Uncle Chris's wife, Aunt Julia, has her own choir. And not only that, she owns a girls' choir. Yes, I know exactly, like happy accidents or whatever. So she owns a girls' choir, and then she runs 4 other choirs.
Wow.
So I was like, yes, dope. So
Did you have any idea? Did you have any idea of that or no?
I think I might have gotten, because I kept in touch with my cousin. She has 3 kids. 3 kids who were living in the house at the time when I came and moved in with them when I was 16. So I think I might have heard from them that they were also in the girls' choir. So I was like, okay, sweet. So I joined her girls' choir, and basically, like, my Aunt Julia, like, I mean, gave us voice lessons, you know? It was cool because it was like free voice lessons. She's a piano player. She has like a grand piano in the house. And so, like, I mean, all of our family gatherings out here are like everybody gather around the piano and sing. So it was awesome because, yeah, basically she she was the person who trained me vocally. However, her girls' choir, once you turned 18, you were no longer allowed to be in it. It was basically just like middle school, junior high, high school girls. And so I was 18 and I like begged and pleaded. I was like, please, please let me stay in the choir. And she's like, all right, 1 more year. She's like, but then you need to move on. You know, you need to move on with your life. So I stayed in the choir until I was 19. And then as soon as she kicked me out of that, it was funny. It was weird. Like, I thought that I could quit music and that I would be fine. And that was not the case. As soon as I stopped with that choir, it is so indescribable, and any musician can tell you this. It's indescribable when a musician is not doing their craft. It's like a slow death, and it's like actually painful, and it's actually gnarly. It's like going through a breakup, but it's like the worst withdrawal symptoms possible. I don't even know how to describe it, but I was like, oh my God. Like,
so this last year was amazing for you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Not being able to perform. Well, no, but that's a great time to write and to be disciplined and actually like get the plan of attack down. And so I mean, you can find the bright spot in anything. Also, I mean, live streaming, I did do a couple of live stream shows. I got to do, what is the name of that girls rock and roll retreat?
She-Rock.
Oh.
There it is. Thank you. Yeah, I got to perform a live stream show for She-Rock. Awesome. And it was so cool because all of the kids were on the live stream and you could like see them typing their little comments. They were like, wow, you're so cool. Please notice me. Like, it was the cutest thing ever. Like, performing for little kids is the best thing in the world. So, so yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Like, I came to the realization that I couldn't stop doing music, not without it being like a really painful experience. And so I got on Craigslist. Shockingly enough, like, I found my first few music opportunities and my first few bands that I worked with through Craigslist, and it wasn't creepy and it wasn't bad. Like, everybody's so scared of Craigslist, but for musicians, it's not a bad resource.
I was going to say, we've heard that before. A lot of people say Craigslist. So
yeah, you'd be amazed. Like, there are some good, teams looking for members on Craigslist. It's pretty shocking, actually. So yeah, I mean, I guess the rest is history. I kind of started off working with cover bands at that point. And then I kind of moved into doing like grunge music somewhat and a little bit of metal. And then
wow,
a lot of the people that I was working in bands with, they were all like, they wanted to get married and have kids and do all that gross shit. And so, wait, am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Sorry. Am I allowed to swear on here? Sorry, my bad.
No, you're good.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just so disgusting when people like, sorry. I just come from the, like, once people start wanting to breed and stuff and like buy houses and get married, and once the guys in your band are like, oh, my wife won't let me do that gig, I'm like, oh my God. Like you just lose respect for the people you're in a band with, and you're like, wow, you're disgusting. Go breed and be a servant to your wife, and I'm going to move on. So that was when I realized it was time to like strike out on my own and start a solo career, because trying to rely on people who like music isn't their number one, it's impossible, because it's like yeah, I want music to be my full time. I want it to be my career. And so if you're in a band where everybody isn't on board with that, it gets old really fast. So the band I was with started saying no to gigs, and I was like, "Ooh, we don't say no to gigs. We don't do that." I was like, "Bye bye, bye bye, peace out." It's been real. So yeah, that's how the solo career started, and that was like maybe 3 years ago now, maybe something like that. But yeah.
I would think it would be very difficult to find somebody just because you are so ambitious and driven and multi-talented, to find somebody to meet you where you're at and have that same focus and drive.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, I don't know, I've always kept my life a certain way so that when the opportunity for music comes, I can say yes without hesitation, and there won't be anything standing in my way. That was by design. It was no accident. You know what I mean? And so it's like music holds that place in my heart and in my life. Like there's nothing else above it. so yeah, it has been hard to find people who, because I mean, I guess the number one question I ask people now when I want to work with them on music is, are you willing to relocate? If we're offered a tour, are you willing to tour? Because if you're not going to tour with me, like, why don't we just call it quits right now? I would literally rather go from venue to venue all across the nation with my laptop in my backpack and my backing tracks in my laptop than to like be offered a tour and then have everybody flake out at the last minute and like have to plan B it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's where I stand with that. So yeah.
It's your story is a lot to take in, but it's so funny because it makes me think you are the ethereal rose. You were gonna grow wherever you were, wherever you are.
Thanks.
I mean, and for your stepmom not to see that you could work a runway, you could work a stage, you could work because you have such a beautiful voice. You are so beautiful. Never mind that. You have that shine from within.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that drive. I mean, you can see it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, it saddens us to hear a story where it's hard, but I think that it just, it coming from that and listening to the music that you have, I think, because your music has a lot of, just to put a real generality to it, there's a lot of girl power going on.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's a lot, there's a lot of positivity. There's a lot of owning yourself. There's a lot of, you have what I have to laugh at Zen Garden, I think, is a song that is, it feels like a very sexy, very sensual song about consent.
I love it. Oh my gosh. I absolutely love it. Yeah. Yeah. Zen Garden was like, you know what? That's like the last time that I was like truly, truly, truly in love, like madly, madly in love. And I wrote that song while I was in that space. And I had like so much reverence for that man. And like, yeah, totally. Like, totally. And that's true because Zen Garden, it's interesting because the new chorus, there was an original Zen Garden. And then when I started working with the producer that I'm working with now, we revamped some of the older songs. And this is one of the songs that we made a new version of. And because I was using the Stone Temple Pilots melody in the last chorus, I was like, dang, well, I don't want to get sued ultimately. No. So we redid the chorus. And it was interesting because you can walk within my Zen Garden. That's what I was saying is, literally, like when I wrote Zen Garden was the last time that I truly let my guard down and like bash down all my walls. Cause I've had, layers upon layers upon layers of walls. I mean, who of us has not gotten our heart ripped out? Like, come on, like dating in this day and age, it's it's a battlefield. So yeah, like that was the last time that I like truly took down all my walls and I was like, no, for this guy, absolutely. Like we are not going to be guarded. Like I am going to let this person in 1000%. And And then he told me he'd cheated on me with 4 girls. So
You're like, I got some more music to write here.
it's so funny because I just keep learning more and more about myself. And the number one thing that I've learned in my dating life is that I have incredibly poor discernment when it comes to men.
I said that 3 times yesterday about myself.
Did
What's
you?
a steady constant? Taste isn't that good.
Yeah, I just, it's crazy. That's okay. And that's the crappy thing about seeing the good in people. I can. It's interesting. Like when I meet somebody, I see their highest self, like every single time. And I'm teaching myself how not to do that anymore. I'm teaching myself to see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and to be very matter of fact about it. And just to be factual, just to be like, the writing's on the wall. This person told me they have these problems that they need to go to therapy for. Like, instead of just honing in on everything I love about a person, I'm actually like listening to them tell me like, no, I'm a really dysfunctional person and I'm super fucked up. It's like, okay, when people tell me that now, it's like ding, 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 ding. Like, yeah, because that guy told me thousands of times, he was like, I'm a piece of shit. And I would hold him and I'd be like, baby, no. I'd be like, don't say that about yourself. You're amazing. I love you. You know what I mean? And now it's like when people tell me they're a piece of shit, I'm like, you are? Okay, thank you. I'm like,
I'm listening. I'm
listening this time. I'm hearing even the things I don't want to hear. So yeah, I lived and I learned, and now we know.
I was going to tell you through Zen Garden and through the Taco Bell, and I do not say this lightly of you and just of you as a whole person. You remind me of, and like I said, I do not say this lightly, Beyonce. Ooh. Through the strength of a woman, through your dance, through how you carry yourself, how matter of fact you are. And then the Taco Bell, it made me think Austin Powers, where she can get her silly on, but still be fierce.
Oh my God, Foxy Cleopatra, yes.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. I've had lots of comparisons. I mostly get Aaliyah, actually.
Oh.
Because she's got that smooth R&B thing. But no, that's one of the greatest compliments ever, and I will take it. Because she's a powerhouse, and she's, a force to be reckoned with. So thank you.
Well, that's what I see and hear from you. So yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much.
So I'm glad you got the other superpower of hearing it when people say it.
Yep. You live and you learn, lessons learned in life. I have to learn all of my lessons the hard way.
Yeah.
I just have to know. You know what I mean? It's like the curiosity would have killed me. So it's like, all right,
So from writing Zen Garden to the sillier Taco Bell, whatever, and I'm curious, do you really eat that? Because holy crap.
Oh my gosh. Do you not like Taco Bell? I love Taco Bell.
Yeah, but I can't. You saw me. I'm like a Oompa Loompa. I'm too short.
What are you talking about?
But I'm curious because your genres are all over and you don't fit any sort of box in this album, like to spin it, like how do you go about that? Is it,
interestingly enough, okay, so, all right, so first off, a lot of my songs are given to me in dreams. A lot of times I will literally I will have like a 3-hour long dream where I can hear the complete song in its entirety. And then I wake up, I open up the voice memos on my phone, record as much of like the guitars doing this, the drums are doing this. I do kind of a vocal melody. I basically just like jot down the idea in my voice memos as fast as I possibly can. And then I hit up a producer because I don't play any instruments. So I hit up a producer and I'm like, listen, this is what it sounds like. And I relay it to them. And then they'll make what they think that I'm saying and they'll play it back to me. They'll be like this. And I can compare it to what I heard in my dream. And so a lot of my songs are just given to me in dreams. And I try to get them as close as humanly possible to what I heard in my dreams. Because like, let's be real, I hear entire choirs of angels in my dreams. Like, sorry for sounding totally wacky, but like I've heard the other side. Like I've heard where the space that we exist in when we're not like driving around these vehicle bodies or whatever, like I have heard that choir and it's like beyond anything I can really describe. But I have tried to relay that in a lot of my songs. Like a lot of my music does feature layered ambient synth with vocals and basically just like, it's interesting, favorite song on the new album, the very last song on the album, because I think that's the closest I could possibly get to relaying the magic of like what I hear that I'm trying to like translate into this physical world. So yeah. Well, and also just to like sort of answer your question a little bit more about like, how do I go from topic to topic and genre to genre? Like each producer that I work with has kind of a different sound and I try to play to their sound that they're giving to me. So it's interesting because Crooked Ernie, the hip hop producer that I was working with when I did Yo Quiero, the Taco Bell music video, he like put all of these bells he put all of these bells inside of that song and they were like heavy, thick, like deeper bells. And I was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to write a love song to Taco Bell to like profess my undying love because like, let's be real, like me and Taco Bell were like this. It's like I actually like have like, sorry for being a weirdo, I have feelings for Taco Bell. And like, it's romantic. And I know I'm a weirdo, but during the shutdown, first of all, I drive a camper van and it's 9 feet tall. And during the shutdown, when the dining rooms were not open, that camper van does not fit in any drive-throughs. And I told you I migrate south for the winters. When I do van life in the winters, just to kind of like escape a little bit of Minnesota winter and like try to maintain a little bit of my sanity. And the first thing I did when I got down to Florida, this most recent trip, was I went straight to Taco Bell because I knew the dining rooms in the South were open. And I like marched right up to the counter. I was like, cheesy gordita, crunch, spiced potatoes, up taco, Mexican pizza, blah, blah. And the lady was like, go order at the kiosk. And I was like, oh. I was like, sorry. I like didn't even realize they had switched their technology. We don't talk to them anymore. We just like tap things on the screen. And
a hug
like,
was probably out entirely.
she was like looking at me like, whoa, lady, take it easy. I was like, I'm sorry, I just got here from Minnesota and all of the Taco Bell's dining rooms are closed. Like, you have no idea how long I've been waiting for this. But yeah, no, I always had it in my heart that I was going to write a love song to Taco Bell. So when I heard those bells, I was like, uh-oh, this is the one. Like, I was like, let me buy that beat off of you. I'm about to write to that. And Yo Quiero was born.
I do like the playfulness of it, and I do appreciate you saying, sorry that I didn't write the specific line down, but it was like, when times were tough, I knew I still had you because affordability and whatever. And I was like,
yes.
you know,
yes. Yeah, absolutely.
The realness of what people are facing. I thought I liked that, even though, you know, I know it was playful and real, but yeah, the realness of it too.
Absolutely. I mean, thank goodness I went into thank goodness I bought my van life van when I bought it, because it was just before the COVID shutdown and none of us could have predicted that. You know, nobody could have predicted that, but it's true that you can live off of Taco Bell's dollar menu. I mean, I like the specialty items myself, but you could, like, worst comes to worst, like, you absolutely can. Like, it's all tortillas and potatoes and freaking shredded lettuce and tomatoes and cheese. I mean, that's and like the best sauces in the world. So when you order on the kiosk, you can like add special sauces to anything that you want. Sorry, don't get me talking about Taco Bell because I'm never gonna stop. I'm sorry, I'll try to stop. Yes. Thank you. Yeah. But it's true.
I think it's interesting. I don't think I've ever had Taco Bell.
Uh-oh.
My mom loves it. And when I was a kid, I didn't like the smell. And you know that kind of way, if you're a kid and you don't like the smell, you're like, I don't. And
All right.
I know. You give me some Chipotle, I'm all over. Or, just had tacos someplace the other night. But,
let me say this. I have heard from many, many, many people that they that their stomach struggles a little bit with Taco Bell. And let me say this, I've been a vegetarian for like probably 8 or 9 years now, and I've never had those struggles. So I'm just going to put it to you this way. If you do try Taco Bell, on the kiosk, there's it says slide for the veggie menu. Just slide that thing and just order it veggie, because I don't want you to have a bad first experience and then, get a bad taste in your mouth and never come back. Yeah. So just order from the veggie menu just to be safe, because I hear people have tummy problems with it.
Okay, that's good to know.
And it has to be their meats, because I do not have that issue.
That's good to know. We learned so much. We talked
I know. I feel like you have to have a commercial with them.
Oh my God, I've been begging them for a commercial for so long. Like, I don't even know what to do anymore. I've harassed them from like every angle that I knew to harass them from. So if anyone knows how to reach the execs at Taco Bell, like, please let them know. I will gladly. I will gladly be the face.
We'll put that out there into the.
Yes, please. I will take a sponsorship, please. Thank you.
That's awesome. Let's hear about some of the other songs, though.
What's that?
I'm looking at some of the other songs that I really like of yours, and I'm debating between two very different songs. Last Sad Song or Straight Edge Life. Those two are two of the other ones that I really.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, yeah. Last Sad Song. Obviously, it's a depressing song, and it's also a very empowering and liberating song, because it's like, obviously, like, dating has not gone well for me at all. In fact, me and my friend Lily used to have a show called Bad Relationship Advice, where basically we gave the best advice that we knew how to give. But since she and I both at that time did not have the results in our life, like couldn't produce any results for our own lives, we were basically just like, let's just call it bad advice, because you don't take financial advice from a poor person, and you like you know what I mean? So I was just like, yeah, that's the general rule. Like, if that person doesn't have the results that you want, you don't take advice from them in that arena. So we had a show called Bad Relationship Advice about our dating misadventures and the absolute tragedy that was our dating lives. She's getting married on July 3rd. I, however, have not cracked the case as to what my problem is and why. So anyways, I'm going to put it to you this way. Like, I went through this spree of dating and I don't know how this keeps happening. Apparently, I like choose people that are unavailable in some kind of way, like emotionally or otherwise. I don't know how to stop doing that. Trust me, I'm working with a therapist. Like, if someone could tell me how to stop doing that, I would freaking love to. But I dated many guys in a row who 5 different guys in a row left me for their ex right away. Oh. Like I would be like, oh my God, this is going so well. Wow, he's amazing. Oh my gosh, it's happening. It's happening. Oh my gosh, we like each other. It's great. And then they'd be like, you know what? And they all give me the exact same speech. you're an amazing person. You're an amazing person. No, really, it's not you. But my ex called, and you know what? We're going to work it out. And it was literally over the span of 2 years, it was the 5th guy in a row to 5. I'm not kidding. It was 5 in a row where I thought I was getting somewhere. And I was like, oh my God, he does exist. It's happening. And the 5th guy in a row was like, it was weird because we'd been dating for a little while. I was wildly attracted to this guy. And he had invited me over. He had cooked dinner for us. He had made dessert, everything. And we were sitting on the couch, and I like reached over and touched him, and he flinched. And I was like, oh, you know that moment where it's like, holy shit, what's happening? He flinched and he moved to as far away from me on the other side of the couch as he could. And then he started in, you know what, you're an amazing person, blah, 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 the same speech that I've heard 1,000 times before. And he was like, my ex is not too happy that, found out that I was dating you, isn't too happy about it. I'm going to go back and try to work it out with her. And he was like, so anyways, we're going to have dessert. And then I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to go. He's like, you're not going to have dessert? I'm like, oh man, like, yeah, a little dessert to go with my side of rejection. Like, dude, and I don't know why like rejection has been such a powerful theme, like just overall in my life, but I can only assume that this is happening for a reason. Like there must be a reason why like I have dealt with like rejection after rejection after rejection. It must be preparing me for like the music industry. I don't know the reason. I don't know the real reason, but I got in my car. It was a full moon that night. And I literally screamed at the moon of all things. Like I needed a place to like put the frustration and the disappointment and like just the sadness and like just like the disgust for myself that I like cannot maintain a man's interest. Like I hated myself in that moment, and I screamed for the drive back to my place was a half hour, and I screamed for a half hour straight until I had no voice left, and I cried and screamed, and I was just like, how much do you think I can take? Like, do you really think I can take much more of this? Because like I'm not as strong as you think I am, and I literally can't handle this. Like I've been very lonely for a very long time. And every guy like entertaining me for, humoring me for 3 months and then throwing me back into the disposal pile. It's just not, I know my limits, and mental health wise, I was like, I literally can't take any more rejection. This is killing me. I am going to kill myself if I continue on this path. So I was like, you know what? I'm really sick of writing songs of a very like sad and dismal nature. And so I was like, I am going to write this song, and this is going to be my last sad song because I'm never writing any depressing shit like this ever again. If I can't have a companion in this life, fine, so be it. Fine. If the powers that be say, no, don't let her have a companion. Okay, fine. I get to roam the earth alone, but God damn it, I'm going to have a music career. So I was like, yeah, this is the last sad song. This is the last time I'm writing something this depressing ever again. So,
and has it?
That was it. I'm not writing any more depressing shit.
All right. That's good. That's good. You and I have shared some similar traits in some of this. So I very, very much appreciate it. But I think you have resilience like no one I've met, like, and I think and I think maybe it is preparing you for the music industry, and I would
maybe so.
Hopefully you need to get to your pinnacle and then meet the right person,
I guess. Yeah, I get.
You're gonna meet him at the Emmys.
It's such a mystery to me, and it's so aggravating. And I said that in the lyrics to the song too. I was like, everybody keeps telling me it's not my fault. Everyone keeps, and and that's the thing. I came to that place where I was like, do my friends just love me so much that they're just blowing smoke up my ass and telling me I'm this amazing catch when really the experience that I've had would show me that I am disposable to men. All men find me to be disposable after 3 months. For some reason, 3 months is the magic fucking number. And I can't, ever since I broke up with my narcissistic ex-fiance, like literally 3 months, like that's it. It's quitting time. And so, yeah, I was just like, I love that my friends love me and want to say supportive things, but like, if it isn't my fault, then like, am I cursed? I've gone to psychics. I've done cord cutting ceremonies. I shit you not. Like, I've been trying to crack the case on this for a long time, because if I'm some magnificent catch, then why do men treat me as disposable? So anyways, that's the story on that. And then Straight Edge Life, I wrote as a celebration song about getting clean and sober, because July 11th is going to be 7 years clean and sober for me.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And you know what? And also, like, it was epic. Like, the way I never do anything half-assed. Like, the way that I crashed my car on my last night of drinking, like, it was so obvious, because I was like and it was in a place of desperation, and I was very suicidal at the time, and I had been just praying and praying and praying, like, just give me a sign. Like, why do I have to stay here? My best friend had already killed himself, and he was the person I was closest to in the whole wide world. And so I was I'm extremely lonely. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm a very lonely person, but he was the person that guaranteed 100% of the time I knew I could call him and he'd be like, come over. I could call him 3 a.m, come over, and we come shoot the shit, and like, everything was cool. Like, that was my homie. We finished each other's sentences. My moon is in Virgo. His sun sign was Virgo. And so, like, literally, I knew this man, like, heart, mind, soul, everything. And so, yeah, ever since he killed himself, like, I was just really lonely, and I was spinning out of control. And I was using alcohol to try to numb my pain and not deal with what had happened, because I really couldn't cope with the reality of, like, did he actually do that? Did he actually leave us? And he did. And that was a reality that I couldn't stomach it. I couldn't face it, because he was like the sweetest, most bright, vivacious. You guys think that I'm like a presence? Oh my gosh, you should have met Eric, because not only was he just like, he had this enormous presence and this really bright, bouncy, happy, jovial energy that was really engaging, really loving, and really welcoming. But on top of all that, he was a musical prodigy, and not exaggerating. He mastered every single instrument he touched. His parents, it's funny, we met when we were working at a pet hotel together, and his parents, we would go over to his parents' house for our lunch breaks. His parents were like, yep, every single music instructor that we hired for him, he outgrew them and he surpassed them skill-wise in 2 months or less. So yeah, he was a freaking genius. So anyways, I drank like 2 gallons of vodka this night. And then I saw that God Came From Space was playing at Triple Rock, and I got my dumb ass into my convertible and I started driving over to the Triple Rock, and I crashed my car in such an epic way and here's the really hilarious part. I know that drinking and driving is not funny. Sorry, kids. But here's the hilarious part is, like, I'd been praying all week. I was like, why do I have to stay here? Why do I have to stay here? Like, if my best friend gets to leave, then why can't I fucking leave? I'm sick of this fucking place. Like, I'm so goddamn lonely here. I said, just give me a sign. Just give me a sign. It was so funny because, and I say this in the lyrics to Straight Edge Life, it was so funny because as I crashed my convertible, 2 metal signs came. The way that people describe their near-death experiences, how everything, time slows down, everything stands still, that's exactly how it happened. These 2 metal signs came flying at my windshield, and as immediately before they hit the windshield, they seared across like I had bashed into both of them, and they seared across each other, and the metal, there were literal like orange sparks flying off of the metal. And I remember taking my hands off of my steering wheel. Like, I remember having that moment where it was like, you've completely lost control. This is out of your hands. And I took my hands off of the steering wheel, and in slow motion, I watched the sparks fly off of those metal signs as they like slid against each other. And then we snapped back into real time again, and the metal went boom against the glass directly in front of my face, like slammed it against the glass directly in front of my face. And I actually say that in the lyrics to Straight Edge Life. because that was my fucking wake up call. Like that was the moment where universe, whatever exists out there, was like, you've been messing around for a long time. Like, like you've been halfway trying to kill yourself for a really long time. And like, we're just here to let you know, like, you're really close. You're really, really close. Because I had driven off the road 1,000 times before that. I should have, oh my gosh. It was so interesting when I got my DUI charge. It was so funny. They were just like, you can contest it. You can fight this. You can win this. Oh, the circumstances of how they found you, blah, blah, blah. You can totally win this. And I said, no. Said, I want the charge. They were like, what? They were like, what? And I even went into the courtroom and the judge was like, so you've chosen to represent yourself. And the judge is looking at me like, hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Are you mad? And I was like, give me the I was like, guilty. Like I marched up there and I was like, please. You know what I mean? Because I had begged so many people by that point. I was like, I'm going to kill myself. I am going to kill myself. I want out. This life is not for me. It's lonely here. I don't have like, I don't know. I wanted out for so long. And so I had been like, my therapists, there was one officer that pulled me over and I was like, well, you just lock me up because I'm going to I was planning on killing myself tonight. Can you lock me in the psych ward? So I'd been like begging for help for so long that it was like, I knew that this charge was the only thing that was going to stop me. Mm. And so I was so happy, like marched my ass into the courtroom and I was like, I'm guilty. I was like, I'm guilty. And they charged me and it was great because I knew that was the end. Like it's interesting when you have somebody really close to you kill themselves, it forces you into a decision place. It forces you into like, are you going to live or are you going to die? It actually like presents you with that question, like full on. And for the 2 years after he killed himself, I was like, I'd rather die. I don't care anymore. I'd rather die. And I was super reckless for those 2 years, super careless, super reckless. I mean, I really played with fate quite a bit during that time. But yeah, that was my huge wake up call. And unfortunately, my dear friend Cage, who like, I was trying to help her out of a circumstance that I had been in. I like when I met her, I just saw myself in her and I was trying to help her get out of the circumstance that I had gotten myself out of. And I recognized it so well. And I wanted to show her that she could do it. And then she got clean and sober for 3 months. And then she died on a relapse. And then once she overdosed, it was crazy because that night I went to bed and in my dream that night, I heard once again, Straight Edge Life was given to me in a dream one more time. And it was crazy because I'd been troubling so long. I was like, how do I stop all these kids from killing themselves? How do I stop them? How do I stop them? Because so many people that I knew by that point had killed themselves via overdose, intentionally or unintentionally. And I was like, how do I stop this from happening? And then I was like, oh shit, we have to make not getting trashed like cool again. And I was like, the last time that happened was in the punk scene in the 80s during like the straight edge.
Yeah, I remember the straight edge movement because I was there in the 80s.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Nice. So yeah, that song was given to me in a dream. Once again, like the sound of it, like the song structure, the sound of it, the guitars, I heard the drums. Like the second I woke up, I just jotted it down in my voice memos and relayed it to a producer in Canada. And he got it back to me. So yeah.
It's, you are very generous with your storytelling and your songs and now, but there is an element of teacher in you too, I feel, or if not a lifter upper,
yeah. Well, and I think that's very natural. Like when you've been to that place so many times where like you just needed like to be seen or to be heard or for someone to give half of a shit. You know what I mean? Like if you've known that pain, you can never unknow that pain. I don't think you can ever forget be like feeling alone in this world, because like, let's face it, like this earth life and this human life that we chose to come, you know, do this iteration of, like, this is hard. It's not, there's, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, it has its bright spots. There's a lot of beauty in this world. But internal growth and internal expansion is a journey and it is a long trudging, sometimes tedious, sometimes gut wrenching, heart wrenching, you know, soul sucking journey. And so yeah, it's like, if anything that I've experienced can help anyone, which I recently found out on TikTok, I started talking it was weird. I just had an experience from my childhood in my mind, and I spoke about it on TikTok, and boom, like, it's crazy how there is an untapped, there is a group conscience of unspoken pain that people don't feel like they have permission to speak about. And they need somebody to step forward. That's what I found out, is they need somebody to step forward and say, hey, I don't feel any shame about the pain that I've been through. I can talk to you about drug use, suicide. I can talk to you about all the dark places I've been, and abuse, because I don't have internalized shame about any of my experiences. I mean, seriously, like, growing up with narcissistic parents taught me one thing, and it's that to present one face to the world and then to live as an entirely different person behind closed doors, and to live as a disgusting, bitter, angry, seething, horrible, hateful person behind closed doors. Are you kidding me? I decided from observing my parents early on that I would never portray a false image to the world, and that I would always present as the person that I actually am on the inside. And that if I leave my house that morning and I'm depressed and somebody asks me how I'm doing, I'm not going to smile and laugh and give everybody what they want. Like, no, absolutely not. I'm just going to tell you, like, and there doesn't have to be a stigma around it. There doesn't have to be a ton of shame around it. Like, literally, that's how we connect on a more deeper level, is by actually like being real with each other, and actually like, just, we're all going through the human experience together. There's nothing you're experiencing that the other humans around you have not experienced. And I remember finding that out when I was like 24. I was listening to one of the ladies at work talk about an experience she went through. And I had that aha epiphany light bulb moment where I was like, my suffering is not unique, where we all come here and suffer. And that is like, that's where our inner expansion comes from. That's where our empathy comes from. Like, if we didn't suffer, we couldn't love each other on the level that we love each other. So I don't know. I just try to keep it all in perspective.
No, I think that's awesome. I think that when you really get in trouble is when you add those secrets onto the rest of the crap that we're all dealing with. You know, yes. I think that your album is just, and the album just came out in March. It's really coming out at a perfect time, because I think there's never, well, certainly in my lifetime, which is fairly long, but I think there's never been a time, given the pandemic especially, and then so much of the civil unrest that's happened, where it has been the whole world throughout. Like, the idea that we're all, because many of us are going through the same thing at the same time for the same reason.
Yes.
You know, each is different, none is unique. You know, it's
that
shared.
I just you know, it being the age of Aquarius and everything. I'm really into astrology. But just the fact that like the dawning of the age of Aquarius became the realist moment where everybody's mask fell off, everybody's secrets came out, everyone who was a closet racist became an outward racist. You know what I mean? And like, I think the fact that the veil has lifted and that we're not doing niceties anymore, we're not just being polite to each other's face anymore, and that people are actually expressing themselves. Like, I think we all chose this group healing session to go through together. And like, I don't know, I think this is like part of our life's mission, like the life mission of everyone who chose to incarnate for this particular worldwide long-term event.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective of it. I think it's a really interesting perspective. Just the idea that you choose to incarnate at this time is very interesting. That I like thinking that.
Yeah, it certainly helps.
Yeah, it does. It does. I don't know that I hadn't thought of it in that terms before, but I think
It keeps me out of that place where I want to scream at the sky and punish God.
Yeah, no, I think that's well, and I think that wisdom plays in so much of the music. I mean, I just think that it's and
it keeps you in a place of personal responsibility, like personal accountability. It keeps you in a place of almost radical ownership of your experience. You know, I mean, I just, you know, there's it's interesting. I don't know. There's a couple of different themes that just come up for me. I do a lot of like mental gymnastics, as I'm sure you've noticed. But I was recently grappling with the difference between acceptance and allowance. And it's interesting because like you can never change a situation except from a place of first reaching acceptance. Like first you have to accept the situation and then you can dispense with it. But it's interesting, like, especially here in the Midwest where Minnesota Nice exists, it's so lovely to have the veil lifted. There's no, you know, the excuses that people make for maybe their family members that come from a different generation, for example, those excuses don't hold up anymore. You know, like we all collectively have come to a place of acceptance. Like it's ugly, it's gnarly, and it's out of the closet. Like it's out of the closet. And another thing with that is like, this can be a group healing session. I hate that there are victims. Like I hate that there's persecution involved in all of this, because truly, like, all suppression comes from a fear-based place. And so, sorry to get all philosophical, but like, I think if everyone can actually like, I hate to be controversial, but like, I hate being controversial when it comes to stuff like this. I'm just going to put it to you this way. I'm going to put a buffer here. So I went to this group healing session. It was called Authentic Relating Classes, and it was held in the basement of Lake Harriet Spiritual Center. You know, that lovely, it's like a lovely temple, but we did a few practices that were incredibly uncomfortable. There were a couple of practices they had us do. Some of them were nonverbal. Some of them we literally would they would have you walk in circles around the room and then stop. And whoever was the person closest to you, you had to gaze into their eyes for 60 seconds. The most uncomfortable physical human interaction you can possibly imagine. However, we would have a group session after practices like that, and we would ask each person what they experienced. And the variance in experience that each person had just goes to show you that everyone is only experiencing reality through their own lens of their own insecurities, fears, past experience, you name it. I mean, spirituality, like you wouldn't believe the things that came up for different people. I mean, one woman, she was so brilliant, and she had like a golden aura that like shone through her. Like I mean, it was a gorgeous experience. Another man said that he felt 1000% threatened. And what a gift. Like, what a gift for us to know that the experience that we're having does not match the experience of our peers. I mean, and I think we can have we can hold a little bit more space for each other in that regard. because none of us are experiencing, like, we can all stand in the same room and experience the same, we can experience the nerdy show. And everyone can have a different experience. Like, everyone can come away with something different, you know? So I don't know. It's just, it's nice to be mindful about that and to just like keep it at the forefront of my mind and like hold space for people. And instead of assuming, that was the one thing that I learned in authentic relating class, is like, assumptions, throw them out the window. Like, always ask, because I mean, it would just blow your mind. Like, what a different experience everyone is having from you. So anyways, that's my 2 cents.
No, that's good. That's
what I got.
good. And it's just, it's those kind of messages that I think that you do so well in the music. So it's, you know, it's fun to hear you talk more about them.
Okay. Thanks.
I think that the music is enjoyable, and as we've said, lots, you know, a blending of genre and lots of different things, and it's, you know, it very much so. But I think that the one is there, you could hear the resilience and in some of the songs, there's sort of the lessons of resiliency, how to become more resilient. So in both, lessons of resiliency. So it's,
I suppose, yeah.
Thank
you.
It's an amazing album.
I'm glad it was so well received, and that you kind of like, it seems like you really got it. Good. Some people, you know, because I mean, that's always the fear, I think, of every artist. It's like, we really hope it translates. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, I shift gears just a little bit, because people can tell people where they can get it online for folks who are listening. I'll put in the notes too.
Absolutely. So, I mean, thankfully, I used DistroKid as my distributor, so it's available absolutely everywhere. It's available for purchase on iTunes, Apple Music. It's streaming on Google Play, on iHeartRadio, and Deezer, and absolutely everywhere that you stream music. I know that I also have uploaded a lot of music to SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, and Bandcamp, some of the more DIY sites where you can just kind of, so yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. I also printed off CDs. So I do have CDs available at my shows. So
nice.
There's that.
Nice. Speaking of shows, where can we see you?
I am playing at Palmer's Bar, the outdoor stage out back on the patio, this Saturday, the 22nd, and I will be on stage at 7 p.m. It's the Extraterrestrials album release party. So it's going to be really fun. On top of that, DJ Brian Engel is going to be DJing in between sets, and he's going to DJ out the rest of the night. And if you've ever been to Hip Shaker or any of those events, you know that his stuff is the best to dance to. So I'm like so excited just to go dance. It's funny. I get excited for my shows, but I mostly get excited to get off stage and go dancing at my own show. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yes, if I were picking up a kid in Canada,
And it's my first show with my new lineup of my brand new band and my brand new producer, Keys Williams. So I'm very excited about that.
Awesome. That will be an awesome one. So good.
I can't wait.
Well, I encourage folks to go. That's great.
Yes, please. Please come.
Yes. Ethereal Rose, thank you for all of your time and your wisdom and your energy. This has been super fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry about the internet problems earlier.
No worries.
Okay, good.
Thanks.